Now that the DJI Mavic Pro has been announced, I figured it'd be a good time to talk about the Mavic Pro itself, some of my first impressions, as well as how I think it compares to the GoPro Karma drone, as well as my personal experience with the DJI Phantom 4. Now, I've flown the Phantom 4 quite a bit. I've owned it since it first came out, so I've good experience there. The other two newly announced products, we'll see how they turn out. But let's first talk about the Mavic Pro, because I think this is really interesting, kind of a little departure for DJI from what they've typically done with their camera-based drones that are ready to fly pretty much right out of the box. Now, the Mavic Pro, the main selling point is the size. They couldn't harp on it enough how small this thing is, and it is really small, definitely compared to the Phantom 4 as well as the Inspire, another pretty popular DJI drone, and it's also smaller than the GoPro Karma. Now, the main selling point of the Karma when it was announced was that you could put it in a backpack, carry it with you anywhere. I even made a video about the Karma and was ready to post it, and then DJI went and announced the Mavic Pro. So I figured I'd just wrap it all up into one video, make it nice and easy. So do I think this is a huge benefit? I actually do. It's pretty nice to have a drone that can fit in a fanny pack sized pouch. That's kind of what they were showing off, this tiny little pouch where you can put the Mavic Pro in there along with some batteries and other accessories if you want, carry it with you pretty much anywhere. Now, I travel quite a bit with the Phantom 4, and it is small, it's lightweight, it's easy to travel with, but having something even smaller would be better. Now, the thing that maybe makes me hesitant to say that the Mavic Pro is an upgrade from the Phantom 4 itself, aside from the size being smaller, there really doesn't seem to be that many additional features. Yes, there's a few more sensors, a little bit better automated flight help assistance, and the remote controller is smaller, so kind of everything the Phantom 4 is boxed up in a smaller version with a few extra tweaks, but there's really not any significant upgrades in terms of image quality or things that you'll be able to do with the Mavic Pro that you couldn't do with the Phantom 4. It might be a little bit more difficult on the Phantom 4. You might not be able to fly as far or do all the things that you can do with the Mavic Pro, but it's really not a huge upgrade from my perspective. Now, maybe it'll come out and the image quality will be amazing, but they really didn't hit on that. DJI was mostly focused on the portability aspect of the Mavic Pro, and there's a lot of people out there who want something that's more compact, easier to travel with, and I totally get that. I would want one myself if I didn't already have the Phantom 4. So when you're comparing those two, I think it's a good option. The Mavic Pro is a good option if you don't currently have a drone, but if you already have a Phantom 4, don't feel like you need to run out and buy a Mavic Pro, because unless you're really looking for that portability factor, I don't think you're going to get a lot out of it extra in terms of image quality or anything like that. And that's mostly what I'm concerned about. I'm not worried about sport mode or, racing competitions with drones. I'm worried about image quality, video quality, and what it's actually seeing up in the sky. Now, DJI did announce kind of a side note that they have some goggles coming, some VR style goggles where you can kind of get that first person view from the Mavic Pro. I'm not sure if this will work with the Phantom, but that might be an interesting selling point if it only works with the Mavic Pro using kind of their newer, latest and greatest video imaging signaling. So they had Wi-Fi initially, then they went to Lightbridge, and now they have like OcuSync or something like that, which basically transmits the video signal further and better, and that's great. Now, how does all this compare to the GoPro Karma? Well, the GoPro Karma is a little interesting because it does have a few features that set it apart from what DJI is doing. Now, I know a lot of people will say that the Mavic Pro killed the Karma. GoPro came out, announced their first foray into the drone market, and then all of a sudden DJI is back with a brand new addition to kind of steal their thunder a little bit. But I do think that GoPro has some unique perks or abilities that the Mavic Pro just doesn't have. Now, it can be up to you to determine what you like and what you don't like. Me personally, the main problem, I'll do the problem first and I'll talk about the great things about the Karma. The main problem I have with the Karma personally is that it uses a GoPro, and GoPros have that wide angle fisheye look that is cool for some content, but I don't think is a good across the board use of a camera to always have that super wide angle fisheye look. I just personally don't like it all the time. Sometimes it's okay. I own a GoPro myself and use it for behind the scenes. So if you've seen some of my behind the scenes videos, you've probably seen footage from my GoPro. However, I don't always like that fisheye look, and it is kind of a hassle to have to do the distortion correction, and even then, it's not quite as perfect as you might like. Whereas DJI, all their cameras, they don't have that distortion, and I really like it. That's the reason I bought the Phantom 4 and got that instead of some kind of drone where you could put a GoPro on it. Now, the Karma does some cool things, and the thing that it does, first and foremost, I think is cool, is that it comes with a GoPro. So even though I don't like the fisheye look, it is nice to kind of get a 2-for-1 in getting the drone, but also getting a camera that you could take with you somewhere else. So you could use it for behind the scenes like I do, or you could use it for action sports or whatever you want to use a GoPro for. That's kind of nice. And the fact that the gimbal is removable pretty easily, it looks like, that you can just take that gimbal off and get those steady shots outside of the Karma. That's also really nice and kind of a nifty feature that you don't get with the DJI stuff. Now, I've actually, for fun, used the DJI Phantom 4 and held it, rather than flying it, just held it to see if the gimbal works well, and it does. It's stable, it's really steady, and you can run around with it and film stuff that way. Now, you look a little ridiculous because you have this huge drone in front of your face, but the Karma's ability to take that gimbal out and just have that in the camera, so you could put it on a bicycle, you could put it on a snowboard, you could do whatever you want with it. That is really nice. Price-wise, I think both the Karma and the Mavic Pro and now the Phantom 4 are all kind of right in a similar price range where it really doesn't matter what you end up getting if you're worried about the monetary investment. It's kind of a wash. You know, you might have some extra batteries over here, maybe you got some extra accessories over here. Do you want something that's ultra portable, super lightweight, take it with you anywhere? Then you probably want the Mavic Pro. Do you want something that comes with a GoPro and that you can take the gimbal off and use for other things outside of your aerial shots? Then you probably may want a Karma if you can deal with the fisheye distortion factor. One note of caution, if you are considering the Mavic Pro, from my perspective, it does seem a little rushed, like there was an urgency around getting this announced, and maybe it's just conspiracy theories, but it does seem oddly suspicious that GoPro announced the Karma and immediately DJI is right there on their heels with the Mavic Pro. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily doom and gloom for the Mavic Pro. It could be a great drone. DJI has a fantastic track record of releasing quality products. However, if it was a rush development cycle or they're putting it out on the market fast just to beat the Karma to market, there may be a few bugs to iron out, whether that's hardware defects possibly or firmware bugs. You know, maybe it's something that they can improve with a software update, or maybe it's something that's just a design flaw. Who knows? We won't know until they're out in the wild. People are actually testing them, and these ship pretty soon. So the Mavic Pro is actually going to be released on October 15th. So you don't have to wait too long to get your hands on one, and I would wait a little bit. Let the rest of the people test it out, put their reviews up, see how it goes, see how the launch goes before you put down the cash. Unless you absolutely have to be an early adopter. In that case, go right ahead. I can't stop you. But it might be, it could be the fatal flaw that they just rushed it a little bit too fast. Not saying they did. Again, total conspiracy theory. I have no idea. But it does make me a little bit concerned, a little bit of hesitation when they're seemingly pushing this out so fast. I know there were a few moments during their kind of press conference where they were doing a live stream and things didn't seem to be quite right. They weren't using the angle you would think they would use. It seemed like the video feed wasn't working quite well. Maybe it's just technical glitches on the live stream and it'll all be sorted out by the time it launches. I don't know, but if you're going to spend, $1,000 on a drone, you probably want to make sure that it works and it's everything they say. So let it come out, let people test it out, see if it's as great as they say it is and everything works well, and then if the Mavic Pro is the one for you, go ahead and buy it. Now, what does this mean for the future? Well, it'll be interesting to see if DJI continues the Phantom line. Will there be a Phantom 5? Maybe. I would expect that would probably have that image quality increase. Maybe there's a higher resolution, more dynamic range, higher frame rates. Who knows? Because the Mavic Pro didn't really have any of that. It's basically just shrink it down, make it small. And that's really valuable. But if you already have a Phantom 4, I think you're probably safe sticking with that for the near future. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a huge upgrade a year from now with some killer feature that's going to be amazing. But right now, If you got a Phantom 4, stick with that. If you're looking to buy something new, I'd probably say go with the Karma or with the Mavic Pro. Just depends on if you want that GoPro look or if you want something a little bit more traditional that's not always fisheye, super wide angle distortion. Aside from that, all these products look really cool, and it's great that we have these options and these tools as filmmakers, as video professionals, because the more tools you have in your bag, the more shots that you can get and the more variety you can offer to your clients and for your personal projects. I love that flexibility and those options. And keeping the gear set nice and small and compact is also a really handy feature. So in that aspect, I am a little jealous of the Mavic Pro, but don't have any buyer's remorse over the Phantom 4. It's been a great drone. I fly it constantly. Pretty much every time I travel, we're always looking to like get cool drone shots as long as it's in a, you know, safe and legal flight space. We'll go out and film something, and it usually looks pretty stunning. I haven't gotten sick and tired of it yet. So if you don't have a drone at all, I do recommend you looking to get something. Even the Phantom 3. I know it feels like old at this point after all these new announcements, but the Phantom 3 is still a great option if you are budget conscious. I think they're down close to like $500 now for like a full kit. So something like that, if you're really looking to save money, could be a nice option to consider. Watching the full announcement today from DJI, they were all hyped about the small compact size, and it's a great feature. But for me, personally, it's not necessarily enough of an upgrade to warrant switching from the Phantom 4 to the Mavic Pro. The Karma, kind of off the table because of the fisheye lens, but aside from that, they all look really great.